You might be shocked to learn that Mike Tyson, a legendary boxer who struck fear into every opponent, ended up in prison for a crime that shook the world. In 1991, Tyson was convicted of raping Desiree Washington, an 18-year-old contestant in the Miss Black America competition. The incident occurred after they met at an event and returned to the Canterbury Hotel in Indianapolis. Washington's testimony painted a horrifying picture of the assault that took place in the hotel room, sending shockwaves through the public. In the 1992 trial, Tyson firmly denied the crime, claiming that everything was consensual. However, the jury was convinced by the evidence and the victim's testimony. As a result, Tyson was sentenced to 6 years in prison for rape and served 3 years at the Indiana Youth Center before being released in 1995. While in prison, Tyson converted to Islam and adopted the name Malik Abdul Aziz. Although his life after bars didn't diminish Tyson's influence, it did transform him from an undefeated champion into a controversial figure. Despite his return to the ring after his release, his name will forever be tied to this scandal, leaving lingering questions about redemption and whether he could truly change. Can you imagine Michelle Rodriguez, known for her tough and fearless roles in the Fast and Furious franchise, facing serious legal troubles in real life? Starting in 2002, she was arrested for assault in a quarrel, but the case was quickly dismissed. However, that was just the beginning of Rodriguez's troubles. In 2004, she was arrested for driving under the influence and placed on probation. Violations continued to pile up, and in 2006, she was arrested again for the same offense. The situation reached a climax in 2007 when Rodriguez was sentenced to 180 days in jail for violating her probation. Though the sentence was only served for 18 days due to overcrowding in Los Angeles jails, the case left a mark on her career. The media focused on her image as a rebellious star, but Rodriguez didn't give up. After being released from jail, she was determined to reinvent herself and continue her acting career. Her subsequent roles were powerful characters, as a way to prove that her past didn't determine her future. She once said, "I am a work in progress," to show that she always finds a way to overcome difficulties and become better. Have you ever thought that a football star like Michael Vick, with a prestigious career, could fall into such criminal activities? In 2007, America was shocked to discover that Vick was the head of a cruel dog-fighting ring called Bad News Kennels. The ring not only organized illegal dog fights, but also treated the dogs cruelly using methods like electrocution, hanging, or drowning. The case was exposed after a federal investigation uncovered the truth, leading to Vick's complete downfall. In August 2007, Vick pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 23 months in federal prison in Kansas. Public outrage was not just aimed at Vick, but also reflected strong condemnation of animal cruelty. During his time in prison, Vick had time to reflect on his actions, and, when released in 2009, he began his redemption journey by participating in anti-animal abuse programs and raising public awareness. Although Vick returned to football and won the Comeback Player of the Year award in 2010, his image was forever linked to his past crimes, proving that redemption is not easily attained, despite his success. What do you think if a famous artist like DMX had to go in and out of jail like shopping? DMX, a rapper known for his powerful voice and rebellious lifestyle, lived a life full of turmoil. His real name was Earl Simmons. DMX was not only known for his hit songs, but also for his repeated run-ins with the law. He was arrested for various offenses, including reckless driving, drug possession, probation violations, and even impersonating a federal officer. From 2010 to 2015, DMX went in and out of prison for not paying child support and other charges. However, during this dark period, he remained steadfast in one goal: redemption. With each release, DMX seemed more determined to spread his message through music. He once shared, "I went to jail to spread the word of God." His experiences in prison changed his lifestyle and deeply impacted his music. His songs after prison carried more emotion, blending pain, regret, and a desire to find himself. Although DMX's life was filled with ups and downs and ended with his death in 2021, his legacy remains. Let's recall the shocking murder case in 1995 that stunned America. OJ Simpson, a former football star and actor, was charged with the murder of his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend, Ron Goldman. The trial lasted nearly a year, drawing massive media and public attention. Although Simpson was ultimately acquitted in the criminal trial, the case left an indelible mark on his career and life. In 1997, a civil jury awarded him $33.5 million in damages to the victims' families, marking the collapse of his image as a sports hero. But believe it or not, Simpson's legal troubles did not stop there. In 2007, he made headlines once again when he participated in an armed robbery in Las Vegas to reclaim his sports memorabilia. This led to Simpson being sentenced to 33 years in prison, with a minimum of 9 years before being released in 2017. Even after his release, OJ Simpson could never escape the shadow of the infamous crimes that turned him from a legendary sports star into a symbol of his own downfall. Who would have thought that an action star like Wesley Snipes, famous for his role as the vampire hunter in Blade, would end up in prison for tax evasion? In 2006, Snipes was convicted of failing to pay taxes for 6 consecutive years, from 1999 to 2004, amounting to nearly $7 million in evaded taxes. Although he claimed he was deceived by an accountant and a tax protester, the court convicted Snipes and sentenced him to 3 years in prison in 2008. His time in prison was not only a physical challenge, but also a profound journey of self-reflection for Snipes. In an interview after his release in 2013, he admitted that he left with a clearer perspective on his values and life goals. After being freed, Snipes did not abandon his acting career. He returned to the screen with impressive roles in Dolomite, Is My Name, and the sequel to Coming to America. Snipes' story shows that even when facing great challenges, a star can find a way to bounce back if they learn from their mistakes. Can you believe that a talented music producer like Phil Spector, who created hits with his famous wall of sound technique, ended up in prison for murder? On February 3, 2003, actress Lana Clarkson was found dead at Spector's mansion with a gunshot wound to her mouth. Spector claimed it was suicide, but evidence suggested otherwise. Witnesses described his erratic behavior and his obsession with firearms. The first trial in 2007 ended without a verdict, but in 2009, Spector was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to 19 years in prison. In the years following his conviction, Spector's life shifted from the limelight to solitary confinement and illness. He passed away in January 2021, leaving behind a story of conflict between his extraordinary musical talent and a violent past, resulting in a legacy that was both glorious and dark. Who could have imagined that James Brown, the king of soul with his unmatched stage presence, would end up in a dramatic police chase in 1988? Under the influence of PCP, Brown threatened people at an insurance conference with a gun and then led police on a high-speed chase. The chase spanned several states and ended when the police had to shoot out his tires to arrest him. As a result, Brown was sentenced to 6 years in prison for assaulting an officer and driving under the influence. Although he served only a little over 2 years, the incident tarnished the image of the legendary music star. After his release, Brown tried to return to the stage, but his reputation was never the same. However, he left a lasting impact through his music, carrying a strong message of hope and recovery. Would you believe that Martha Stewart, the symbol of success and elegance in the home industry, ended up in prison for insider trading? In 2004, Stewart was charged after selling shares of ImClone systems right before the FDA rejected them, saving her nearly $46,000 in losses. As a result, Stewart was sentenced to 5 months in prison and 5 months of home confinement, along with a $330,000 fine. After being released from prison, Stewart not only recovered, but rebuilt her empire, even stronger than before. She used her survivor image to confidently appear on television, continued running her business, and expanded into other ventures. Her story is a testament to the incredible strength and resilience to overcome adversity. Who could imagine that Robert Downey Jr., once a bright young talent in Hollywood, would fall into the shadows for many years due to addiction and multiple arrests in the 1990s? Downey Jr. became a headline not for his acting talent, but for his drug-related arrests, including cocaine addiction and even possessing an unlicensed firearm in 1999. After failing to comply with drug treatment requirements, he was sentenced to 3 years in prison and served time in California State Prison. His time in prison became a turning point, forcing him to confront his addiction and career collapse. However, Robert Downey Jr.'s recovery journey is a miraculous one. After his release, with support from friends like Mel Gibson and a commitment to meditation and yoga, he gradually regained his life and career. His role as Tony Stark in Iron Man in 2008 marked an impressive comeback, transforming him from a failure to one of the highest-paid actors in the world. Downey Jr.'s story is a testament to the power of repentance, perseverance, and the ability to turn one's life around from the depths of despair to the heights of fame. Can you believe that R. Kelly, the artist behind hits like I Believe I Can Fly, would be convicted for terrible crimes related to human trafficking and sexual abuse over many years? Although allegations of sexual abuse against R. Kelly had been around for some time, No one expected the scale of the case to be so severe. In 2022, after years of investigation and shocking interviews with victims, Kelly was sentenced to 30 years in prison for trafficking and sexually abusing dozens of women and minors. The case sparked global outrage as witnesses shared how Kelly used his fame to manipulate and abuse his victims. The Me Too movement played a major role in shedding light on Kelly's actions, putting public pressure on him and encouraging many victims to speak out about allegations that had been denied or forgotten. The case not only shattered Kelly's image, but also strengthened the power of the Me Too movement in the fight against sexual abuse in the entertainment industry. R. Kelly's downfall became a symbol of this ongoing battle. Can you imagine that Harvey Weinstein, one of the most powerful producers in Hollywood, would become the center of dozens of lawsuits related to rape and sexual harassment in 2017? The Me Too movement gained traction as a slew of actresses and employees accused Weinstein of abusing them over the years, using his power to silence them. The allegations from dozens of victims exposed the brutal nature of Weinstein, from sexual coercion to threatening to protect his secrets. The first trial resulted in Weinstein being sentenced in February 2020 to 23 years in prison for rape and sexual assault. The public trials, with significant media attention, marked a turning point in the fight against sexual abuse in the entertainment industry. Weinstein's downfall became a symbol of monumental change in Hollywood and inspired many other victims to speak up, making the Me Too movement one of the largest revolutions in modern history. Jared Fogle, from fitness icon to criminal. Did you ever think that Jared Fogle, once a celebrated Subway brand ambassador with a miraculous weight loss story, would be at the center of a horrific pedophilia case? In 2015, Fogle was arrested after a federal investigation uncovered his purchase and possession of child pornography, as well as his abuse and trafficking of children across borders for depraved acts. The overwhelming evidence led to Fogle pleading guilty and being sentenced to 15 years in prison. During his time in prison, Fogle wrote a letter admitting his mistakes, describing his life in prison as a series of regrets and sufferings. However, Fogle's image was never restored, and he became living proof that abusing fame to commit wrongdoing can lead to dire consequences. Diddy Combs, a name known throughout the hip-hop and entertainment industries, is the music mogul who created hits that propelled artists like Notorious Big to the pinnacle of fame. However, in September 2024, the entertainment world was shocked when Diddy was arrested on charges related to human trafficking and sexual abuse. A multi-year federal investigation revealed that Diddy had used his power and fame to manipulate and exploit young women in the industry, even committing physical and mental abuse. Documents and witness testimonies showed that he used his power to control and coerce women into following his will. A 2016 video surfaced unexpectedly, showing Diddy attacking his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura at a public party. The video quickly spread, causing outrage online. Diddy was forced to apologize, admitting that it was the darkest moment of his life. The media's harsh reaction caused Diddy's image to rapidly collapse, turning him from a powerful icon into a controversial figure, opening a dark chapter in entertainment history. Danny Masterson, the beloved star of the sitcom That 70s Show, became a phenomenon when he was convicted of sexual assault in September 2023. Masterson faces up to 30 years in prison after being convicted of assaulting 2 women between 2001 and 2003. The trial was notable not only because of Masterson's crimes, but also because of the involvement of the Scientology Church, which was alleged to have hidden and protected Masterson for years. Victims detailed in court how they were exploited by Masterson and pressured by the church to stay silent. One victim shared, "For many years, I was afraid of losing my voice, but today I've regained it." This testimony caused public outrage, especially when many realized that the silence and cover-up still existed in Hollywood. Masterson's sentence marked a significant step in addressing the culture of silence and protecting criminals in the entertainment industry, but it also highlighted the complexity and hidden power of organizations like Scientology. Elizabeth Holmes, once hailed as a tech genius and compared to Steve Jobs, was sentenced to prison for multiple counts of fraud. Holmes founded Theranos, a healthcare technology company that promised to revolutionize blood testing with just a drop of blood. However, years later, the horrific truth was revealed. The technology she promoted did not work at all. In 2022, Holmes was sentenced to 11 years in prison after investigations revealed that she had defrauded hundreds of millions of dollars from investors, including prominent figures like Henry Kissinger and former President Bill Clinton. During the investigation and trial, emails and testimonies from Theranos employees revealed that Holmes had intentionally concealed the truth about her failed technology to maintain trust and attract investment. The downfall of Holmes was not only a personal story, but also raised serious questions about ethics and oversight in the tech industry. Her family was also severely affected, especially when she had to be separated from her 2 young children to serve her sentence. Despite her attempts to rebuild her image through interviews and a memoir, the public could not easily forgive a woman who was once seen as a symbol of innovation, but ultimately deceived the world. Who would have thought that Michael Jace, a veteran actor known for his role as a police officer in the TV series The Shield, would face the most horrifying sentence of all, killing his wife in an uncontrollable fit of rage. In May 2014, Jace, who was beloved by audiences for his portrayal of a steady and principled man, let his dark side take over when he shot and killed his wife, April Jace, at their home in Los Angeles. April was a devoted mother and a beloved athlete. It may be hard to believe that Todd Chrisley, a familiar face on the reality TV show Chrisley Knows Best, is now facing serious prison time for financial fraud. Todd, known for his humorous father image and extravagant lifestyle with his wife Julie, orchestrated a sophisticated bank fraud scheme to hide their true financial situation. In 2022, after months of investigation and trial, Todd was sentenced to 12 years in prison, and Julie to 7 years for fraud and tax evasion involving more than $30 million. The case shocked many, not only because of the enormous amount of money they defrauded, but also due to the sophisticated way they falsified financial documents and bank loans. While Todd continuously denied his wrongdoing and claimed to be a victim of a larger conspiracy, evidence, including emails, bank document copies, and testimony from bank employees, convinced the jury that the Chrisleys had indeed committed fraud to maintain their lavish lifestyle. The reality TV show that once brought them fame and power has now become a testament to greed and deception behind the glitz and glamour. The consequences of their sentences go beyond Todd and Julie being imprisoned. The Chrisley children must now face new pressures and responsibilities without their parents. The family, once considered a symbol of wealth, must struggle to maintain their spirit. Todd Chrisley's story is not just a lesson about greed and the consequences of poor decisions, but also sheds light on the dark side of reality television and the lengths people will go to maintain a perfect facade. You might not believe it, but Mark Wahlberg, a successful Hollywood actor and producer, had a dark past involving violence and crime when he was younger. Before entering the entertainment industry, Wahlberg grew up in a tough neighborhood in Boston, where, as a teenager, he quickly fell into a life of drugs and violence. In 1988, at the age of 16, Wahlberg was arrested and charged with assaulting two Asian men, causing them serious injuries. He was convicted of racially motivated assault and sentenced to 45 days in jail, even though the original sentence was 2 years. This incident became a turning point in Wahlberg's life. After being released, he was determined to change and began a journey of seeking forgiveness. Wahlberg threw himself into charity work, participating in programs that helped at-risk youth, and publicly apologized to those he had harmed. His story is not just a testament to the possibility of redemption, but also a lesson in overcoming mistakes and becoming a positive role model. Wahlberg once shared, "No one is perfect, but we can all change and do the right thing." Felicity Huffman, best known for her role in Desperate Housewives, was once a symbol of elegance and talent, until the college admissions scandal erupted in 2019. Huffman became the center of one of the largest educational scandals in U.S. history when she admitted to paying $155,000 to cheat on her daughter's SAT exam. This plan was part of a larger scheme orchestrated by William Rick Singer, where wealthy and famous families cheated to get their children into elite colleges. Huffman was sentenced to 14 days in prison, a brief sentence, but one that left a deep impression. She served her time in October 2019 and was released just 2 weeks later. However, her life was completely changed. Huffman publicly apologized and took responsibility for her actions, promising to restore her image through positive contributions to the community. She later engaged in charity work and supported educational programs to help students who couldn't get into college. Despite the damage to her career, Huffman's efforts to recover showed her sincerity in atoning and regaining her standing in the public eye. Loughlin, best known for her role in Full House, was once a symbol of success and the ideal family. However, in 2019, her name was embroiled in a major college admissions scandal when she was arrested for her involvement in a bribery scheme. Along with her husband, Loughlin paid $500,000 to get their 2 daughters into the University of Southern California through a fake athletic program. The case became one of the biggest shocks to the public, raising questions about the fairness of the college admissions system. Loughlin was sentenced to 2 months in prison in 2020, along with a fine and community service. Although her prison sentence was brief, the incident left a stain on her career and public image. Since her release, Loughlin has attempted to rebuild her reputation through charity work and educational initiatives. However, her career and image have yet to return to the level of fame she once had. The fame, wealth, and allure of the celebrity world often lead to captivating and dramatic stories. However, as we've seen with the list of 22 stars who have gone to prison, their lives are not always as glamorous as the public perceives. From violent behaviors, abuse of power, to greed and fraud, these stories are proof that no one is above the law, not even the biggest stars. What do you think of these stories? Let us know in the comments below. All information in this video has been gathered from reliable sources and is for informational purposes only. Don't forget to like, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel to not miss out on future exciting videos.